Hello, everybody. Welcome to Empowering Democracy. I'm your host, Joe Firestone. And the topic of this stream is Oz's best ideas. And we'll see what they are in just a moment. So there's an article that appeared in Common Dreams. Hang on a second. Let me do one thing here. Okay, there we go. Let me share a post from Common Dreams. So, this post isn't, or this, I should say, the article is entitled, Dr. Oz puts the best ideas forward. The mayor will do your pelvic exam now. This is a column, okay, by Abby Zimet, published on October 26th. It was her reaction to debate. Okay, predictably, the debate between Pennsylvania's John Fetterman and New Jersey carpetbagger Mehmet Oz turned into a Rashomon-like affair of wildly disparate responses, notably to Fetterman's post-stroke struggle to fully regain speech, though plainly not cognition, as in, quote, it's the Oz rule. If he's on TV, he's lying, unquote. With Fetterman's sometimes pauses and stumbles, the focus of much gawking, some deemed his appearance, quote, a Rorschach test of comfort with a disability in a culture of sound bites, mic drops, and clapbacks, unquote, especially in contrast to a fast-talking, smoothly seasoned TV doctor. There was harsh coverage, quote, journalist, unquote, and Ann Coulter fangirl Olivia Nuzzi found Fetterman, quote, absolutely painful to watch, unquote, but also praise from advocates, $2 million in donations, and empathetic pushback on, quote, explicit and deliberate ableism, unquote. People lauded Fetterman's transparency on a difficult recovery, his bravery in going ahead with a debate, and his frequent, still cogent zingers. One of us, quote, one of us is running to serve Pennsylvania, and one of us is running to use Pennsylvania, unquote. One observer found it, quote, less painful and off putting, unquote, to watch Fetterman's halting speech than Oz's, quote, cruel and smirking jabs. Though, alas, for a good segment of today's voters, quote, cruel and smirking works well, unquote. And quote again, he's perfectly capable of doing the job, but he has a disability that's unseemly, quote unquote. So the pundit class has to treat him as if he's incapable, end quote. Went one response. Okay, another, quote again, welcome to being a disabled person in America. The most dramatic contrast came on abortion. Fetterman has always been clear. He believes abortion is health care and a choice that belongs with each woman and her doctor. He also wants to codify the protections of Roe v. Wade into law. Oz, ever slimy, dodged a federal ban query and to universal horror declared, quote, I want women, doctors, local political leaders, unquote, to decide the issue. Okay, a deadly notion he called, quote, letting the democracy that has always allowed our nation to thrive, putting the best ideas forward so states can decide for themselves. Too many bullshit myths and misnomers to unpack here, but enough to outrage vast swaths of people. Laugh out loud, what every woman wants, unquote, said one. Quote, mind your own effing business, unquote. So, but many imagined, okay, the scenario, quote, oh my God, I'm pregnant, unquote, followed by, quote, better call the mayor, controller, Harvey on the zoning board to come look at your lady parts to decide if you can have that DNC. As to those, quote, leaders, unquote, he must mean Doug Mastriano, who wants to ban abortion at 6 weeks and charge any perpetrator with murder, or the classy Marjorie Taylor Greene, or Paul Gosar, who called SCOTUS overturning Roe v. Wade, quote, a long overdue return to civilization, unquote. But Oz insists, quote, women in Pennsylvania understand what I'm saying, unquote. Yep, just like Mothers Against Greg Abbott, quote again, the new MAGA, unquote, know what he's saying. Still, what women are saying is, quote, John on his worst day is a better man and human being than Oz will ever be. Also, John will recover, but Oz will always be a smarmy, soulless scumbag, fraudulent snake oil selling, puppy killing hack. And then there's a Fetterman tweet here. Okay, I guess I am going to play this one.
This is who Dr. Oz wants in charge of women's healthcare decisions.
I want women, doctors, local political leaders, local political leaders.
Oz would let politicians like Doug Mastriano ban abortion without exceptions, even in cases of rape, incest, or life of the mother. Oz is too extreme for Pennsylvania.
I'm John Fetterman, and I approve this message.
So that was out really, really quickly. And then there was another one worth playing. Let's see if we can get this one to play.
Thank you for your patience. There's no easy way to say this, but your baby has a catastrophic brain abnormality.
What does that mean?
It means that parts of her brain didn't form. Your daughter, if she is to survive, will live only a matter of hours after birth. During that time, she will experience a multitude of seizures and ultimately aspirate on her own bodily fluids. She will suffer. A decision will need to be made on termination. I wish I could tell you what to do, but there's only one person who can make this choice.
How much time do I have?
And that person is Greg.
Greg?
Who the is Greg? Yeah, let me just give him a call. Hey, Greg. Dr. Robinson here. Listen, I've got a pregnancy that could... Yes? But I think this one is the... Yes, okay. Sure. Okay, I'll let them know. Yeah, that's going to be a no. Best of luck to you.
Yes, there are some genius ads that are appearing. So this last column was by Abby Zimat, who has written Common Dreams' further column since 2008. A longtime award-winning journalist, unlike Ann Coulter. She moved to the Maine woods in the early 70s, where she spent a dozen years building a house, hauling water, and writing before moving to Portland. Anyway, I won't go on with the rest of that. But there's another hilarious piece which appeared on Twitter. It's an Amy Schumer thing. I don't know if I can immediately bring it up, but there are a lot of people who are circulating it. Let's see. Okay, I can see I cannot easily find that. But you are getting the point, okay, I think. That is one ridiculous idea. I can almost not really believe that was a planned bonehead play by Dr. Ross. It was just, it was really one of the worst trip-ups I've ever seen, in any debate. And John Fetterman has been capitalizing on it in spades. Specifically, the idea that your local political leaders are going to mediate on a decision, okay, of whether you can have an abortion or not is totally and absolutely ridiculous. It could lead to all kinds of corruption, with people bribing local political leaders who would be making decisions based on, well, did this family contribute to my campaign in the last election? Then they can have the abortion. If not, well, too bad, you should have contributed to my campaign. How can anyone come up with such a silly suggestion that these decisions are to be made by one's neighbors, both one's friends and one's enemies? You offended Marjorie Taylor Greene 2 years ago, okay, in a council meeting of some kind. and she has a long memory. No abortion for you. No soup for you. I mean, come on. This is just an outrageous suggestion. But it shows what happens when you take certain ideas and you extend them to their logical conclusion. This has to be a decision that is made by a woman, whether in consultation with her doctor or not. You know, a lot of people have been saying it's up to a woman and her doctor. That sounds good. You know, it sounds political. But I think it's a decision that should just be up to the woman. It's her body that's involved. It's her rights that are involved. Nobody else should be involved in that. It's a decision that is private. It's a basic human right for females. From my point of view, that's it. And Dr. Oz's faux pas and the various commentaries on it are driving that point home very strongly before the coming midterms. This faux pas of Dr. Oz's needs to be nationalized far beyond the Pennsylvania context. Needs to be nationalized to every election for Congress, to every election for the Senate, because it makes clear how ridiculous it is for others to decide whether a woman is to have the right to control her own body. From a moral and ethical point of view, she certainly does have that right. And other people and federal and state governments should be upholding that right, should not be interfering with it. Not at all. It's as simple as that. Okay, thank you all for coming. This is intended to be a short but very emphatic statement, okay, on my part, of my view on this critical issue and my view of Dr. Oz's faux pas. I should perhaps say one more thing about this kind of a debate. When a debate is framed this way, with questions and only short answers allowed, then what's emphasized is sound bites. It's all about sound bites, okay, and memes. And those who can come up with the sound bites quickly have a decisive advantage. So this debate format was biased against John Fetterman. He was very lucky very lucky that Oz came forth with that silly soundbite, which allowed John, in my view, to become the winner of that particular debate. I should add that a few streams ago, I argued, in what I hope was a very cogent manner, that it did not matter who won this debate. The only thing that mattered was that it was John Fetterman who was more likely to support the major pillars of empowering democracy, and therefore that he was the only sensible and moral choice between the two of them for the Pennsylvania Senate. Okay, that'll be all for now, but I'll be seeing you fairly soon once again. I guess in about 18 minutes. So please come back for a discussion of the closing message for Democrats and the real primary cause of inflation. I'll see you then.